Hello, and welcome to this first lecture of the new section on determining design requirements. I'm Arun Singhal, your management coach and mentor with 40 years of experience in people development. So, in this section, we are opening up a new subtopic of prototype development in which we see from the critical to quality parameters that we have determined, how do we determine design requirements? And we will have three lectures in this. In the first lecture, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an overview of how to determine design requirements, and then next subsequent to lectures, we will take you through the various steps of actually determining the design requirements. Right? Ready for that? Wonderful. So, how do you think you can develop design requirements? Obviously, the first thing you would answer is, which is right, is by using house of quality. Now, what exactly is house of quality? Let's look at it in the next slide. So your answer is correct that we will use the house of quality in the QFD quality function deployment process. And as you see, the QFD, the house of quality consists of many rooms, if you could say, many parts of the house. It's on the left hand side is what is called, we start with the customer requirement, voice of customer, or the critical to quality parameters, I would say here. So we will start with that. Then using that product specifications that we had developed in the last section, we will see if we were to meet these product specifications, what are the design requirements? And we could use an approach of Y is a function of S. If Y is the product specification, what are the X1, X2, X3 that we need in the design so that we can meet these customer expectations? Once we have developed the design requirements, we will then look at the relationship between the design requirements and customer requirements in a certain systematic manner. And I'll explain, as we will explain to you as we go forward in subsequent lecture. The third step would be to do comparative evaluation on those customer requirements, the product specifications. Then we will develop a correlation matrix between the various design requirements and finally end up with a technical evaluation. So that's let's say a six-step process for deducing the house of quality to come up with the design requirements in the form of technical evaluation. Right? Ready for that? And obviously, this needs to be done in a cross-functional team, as I was saying earlier. Is that it requires us, because it's a function where we are going to translate the customer requirements into technical functions, and a manufacturer needs to produce ultimately them. So we will need to have the critical functions like design, of course, then the quality, then the production, finance, and the marketing. So all the five functions need to be present in a cross-functional team, and the cross-functional team needs to work together. Right. So how do these design requirements look like before we get into each of these steps, and I show you how these steps are done through an example of the water purifier again. So these requirements, the populated house of quality would look something like this, as you can see here. It will have the description on the product characteristics or product CTQs on the left hand side. Then it will have in the green, the top room, the design requirements. At the middle room, you will have the correlation metrics. On the right room, you will have the competitors rating. The roof, you will have the correlations. And the bottom end, you will have the technical evaluation of the design requirements. So that's how we will look at it. I know it is difficult to read it, but don't worry. As we go forward in the next subsequent lectures, you will be able to read them and see how. So I just want to give you a feel of how will this populated house of quality look like. And this populated house of quality ultimately will give us these design requirements, as you see here. So we will have at the top, the starting left part, the customer requirements that we finalized in the last section, the last lecture. And as a result of that, we will get design requirements ranked in order of priority. And these will be a short couple of words that will describe what do we need to have in the design. And then we will have quality metrics, and interestingly, we will have this quality delivered, design developed at a particular cost, and we will have a cost target as well. And we will talk about how do we develop each of these as we go forward. Right. So what do we do in the next module? So we get into detailed six steps. We visit all the six rooms, including the roof of this house of quality, and see how do we populate all that data, right? And produce that output on the right hand side of this. So thank you so much for watching this first lecture of determining design requirements. I hope you are learning a lot of new things in this House of Quality in QFD process. It's a wonderful systematic process of understanding customer requirements to determining design requirements at this point of time and taking it forward to process and finally having a robust product and process design. So I look forward to seeing you again in the next lecture shortly to take you through the next lecture. Thank you so much.